Cory Smith sitting here with new NC State men's basketball coach Will Wade. Will, first of all, for you, how have the last 6 weeks been?
It's been good.
Yeah?
It's been fun. I mean, look, we've done this 4 or 5 times, so get used to it. We went a little bit slower this time than we've gone in the past. Just making sure we get things right, measure twice, cut once. Making sure that we are very deliberate about what we do, and I think we've done a good job so far.
So take me back 6 weeks ago, or even before that, several months ago. The initial hiring process. You meet with Boo out in Houston, all the different stuff that took place there. I mean, what was the point that you knew, all right, NC State is the place for me, or what sold you on NC State, and what sold you on Boo Corrigan as well?
Well, I think we went through the meeting. We were there a while. We were supposed to last like an hour and a half. We were there probably 3 hours, I think. At first it was feeling out and peppering me with questions, your typical interview. And then at the end, everybody who was there kind of went around the table and was like, "Hey, this is why NC State. This is why NC State. This is why Boo's great. This is why." I had already known about Boo. We had a mutual friend. One of my former athletic directors and him are extremely close, and so that was kind of the initial point of contact was with those guys. And so I already had a good feel for him. Boo had called 100 people about me, because every person he called, they would call me, like, "Hey, I just talked to Boo Corrigan." Or they would text me. And so, I'd already kind of known who he had spoken with, who he'd talked to. And at the meeting, it was really just getting a feel for each other. Because, look, we got to work together every day for a long time, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, it was getting a feel for each other, getting a feel for, Dr. Pollock, our faculty athletics rep, who's awesome. He was there, and Todd and Ben, and Michelle, who's our sports supervisor. So just getting a feel for all the folks, here at NC State, all the folks because reality is, Boo runs a major corporation. He's got a lot of other stuff that he has to do every day. Now we're in contact, we're in a group text. But, I deal with Michelle, and I deal with the other folks a lot more than I deal with Boo. Now when I need Boo, I can call him or text him and he'll call me right back. But, he's got football, and we got baseball chasing the ACC title right now.
Mm-hmm.
We had tennis in the Sweet 16. We've got, he's got a lot of other. We just hired a new men's golf coach. He's got a lot of other stuff that's going on besides worrying about our program. And so, it was important to meet him, but also meet the other folks who you deal with more on a day-to-day basis.
Back in 2017, your name was linked to this job as well. Obviously, a lot of NC State fans were excited about that potential opportunity. Now, 8 years later, completely different circumstances, but a lot of NC State fans, I know you talked about the fact that you saw the whole Wade at State hashtag and things along those lines. How does it feel to know that there's already plenty of passion from the NC State fan base towards you before you even set foot on the court?
Yeah, look, life's all about timing, right? The
Yeah.
timing in 2017 just wasn't, for whatever reason, it wasn't quite right. But the timing this time was right, and so it's been exciting. But certainly NC State's got tremendous fan base, and we felt that in the recruitment process, and we're going to feel their passion when we lose too. So the thing cuts both ways.
Yeah.
That's part. Look, you'd rather people care than not. And when they're upset and they're hurt when you lose, or when they're upset and they're hurt when things don't go well, it's because they care. And you can deal with that. And I think they're going to see a coaching staff and a team and a program that cares deeply too. We care deeply about winning. We care deeply about representing NC State in a first-class manner. And I think it's important that fit's very, very important. Fit gets overlooked in a lot of these hiring things. Yeah, you can go make more money, or you can go throw money at people, but the fit has to be there, and there has to be some level of alignment with the administration and a fit. And I just think that it's a good fit. This is a good fit. The fans are blue collar, hungry, kind of chip on their shoulder. That's how I operate. I think there's a synergy there. I think when we combine that we're going to be a force, as I've said. It's going to be a reckoning. And I stand by that, and I believe in that, and I believe our fans believe in that, and it's coming. And everybody else better get ready.
One of the first hires you made was Andrew Slater as the GM for that position. What was it like kind of pulling him out of the shadows, so to say, and bringing him into that role? And what have you seen from him so far that's helped you build this class?
Well, it wasn't easy. Andrew and I have been, we've been good friends for a long time. And what's funny is most people didn't know that.
Yeah.
And this kind of put everything on the forefront. we kind of put all our chips in the middle. But we had talked about, hey, look, when there's opportunity where everything possibly aligns, this could be, that this would be something that we'd both want to do. And so we always stayed in touch and have been in contact. And I knew that he was somebody that we would need and lean heavily on. And look, I mean, he runs our recruiting organization. He comes from the best organization in the NBA in terms of the intel and the scouting and the drafting, and so he has total control over, hey, here's who we're recruiting, here's the intel on these guys. He's building out databases. He's building out, a lot of different things. And as you can see, he's pretty deceptive. He's fooled you a few times, but he does a good job of making sure that, hey, look, we've got this path, and if this domino falls, this triggers 2 or 3 things. If we don't go this path and we go another path, and this domino falls first, and this triggers this. And so we have contingencies on our contingencies. And his board in his office gives me a headache when I go in there. I got to take an Advil after I go look at it, because he's got so much different things. But his mind's working. His mind's working around the clock. We're basically working 24 hours. I'm an early morning guy. I get up 4:30 in the morning. Andrew is a night owl. He's up till 2:30 in the morning. So basically,
somebody working in that.
Somebody's basically working like 23 hours a day for NC State recruiting. But look, he's got total control over our operations in terms of the recruiting side. Him and Patrick. Patrick's more on the analytics side of everything. He's assistant GM and more on the doing special projects and helps us with scheduling and some other things outside the scope of recruiting. But Andrew's a huge add. He's somebody who is very, very important, and we're very appreciative of Boo and the administration. It wasn't an easy pull, and we're appreciative of their support to allow us to bring him in.
Where do you feel this roster is at this point? You have 10 of your 13, or I don't know if you're going to 15 or not, but 10 of the 13 as of right now. I mean, where do you feel like the roster is at this point?
We're in a good place.
Yeah.
We need to get to a great place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel confident we'll get to a great place here by, May 28th. I think we'll be in a great place by then. But look, we've done a good job of building out guys that fit who we are, fit what we do. We want to take a little bit of time at the beginning, because when you bring kids on campus, you can't fake stuff. You can't fake who we are. You can't fake who NC State is. You can't fake what Raleigh is. So we need to spend some time understanding NC State, understanding Raleigh, to make sure we got to make sure we could bring in the right fits, guys who are going to thrive at this school, both academically, socially. Because you bring in guys who are great players, but they don't fit with what you're doing. They have a bad experience, and they're not as good of players.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to spend the first week to 10 days trying to get a feel. You didn't see a lot of action with a ton of visits at first. We were trying to get a feel for what works, and then we landed on the guys that are Holloman and Arsenault and Dang, and they're just blue collar, just hard working guys, and got a chip on their shoulder. Arsenault and Holloman come from winning programs, played in the Elite Eight and the Final Four. Got a talented kid like Matt Abel, who's just an incredible kid, a hard worker. Brought the 2 kids from McNeese with us, who are both talented guys. But they're kids who have been with me. They can translate kind of what we got. What I'm saying. To keep Paul McNeil was huge. He was, value-wise in our system, he was the best player on the team last year. He was the only guy above a 4 on our stat system, and so it was important to keep him. And I've enjoyed getting to spend time with him and getting to know him. And then, we filled out the front line with Paul a little bit. He's still playing in the playoffs, he has his last regular season game tomorrow, and then the playoffs start. But he'll be here after he finishes up in Treviso at the Adidas Euro Camp. And so, thrilled to have all those guys, and hopefully add one or two more, and see what we can do.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up a couple questions really quickly because I know we got to get you out of here. But what do you feel that you've learned about the NC State fan base over the past few weeks that maybe you didn't know beforehand?
I didn't realize. I'll say this: I'm not on Twitter, all that stuff, so I get that kind of secondhand from Reed.
Yeah.
Reed does all that stuff. I'm not on any of that, but I've been. Obviously, we're in an area where there's multiple schools. And I didn't understand how strong. Like, we go out to eat, or we go get a sandwich at lunch. We'll have 2 or 3 people that come up and want to take pictures. Or I was eating last night, and a couple students came up, and he's going to be a senior, and we talked for 4 or 5 minutes. But I didn't realize. I thought it'd be more divided, the area. I didn't realize how passionate everybody in Raleigh, and particularly the area, kind of this area, is about NC State, and that's been really really exciting. I've been to Eastern North Carolina, and that's obviously state territory. I was down there earlier this week, and so I think that just the passion and how united our folks are about NC State. I didn't realize that before, and you couldn't before being here and being around it every day.
Last one for you. Had this from our boards actually. Somebody asked, what would be your message to NC State fans about what to expect? I know you talked about a reckoning. I know you've talked about all these other things, but what can State fans expect from your style of basketball?
We're not backing down from anything we said the other day. I mean, we double down. We don't back down here. So that's the way we work. But I mean, look, we're gonna do what we've always done. We're gonna be aggressive. We say chance favors the aggressor. I'd rather tell you whoa than go. And so we want guys that we don't have to prime the pump every morning to get them going. We yank that chain. They're moving. They're going. And so that's really important to us, and I think that they're gonna see a team that plays extremely hard. And I think playing hard is a talent.
Yeah.
And I think that getting guys, sometimes that guy just plays hard, that's why he's productive. Well, that's a talent too. That's his talent, is being skilled or being able to do this or being able to do that. So I think that you're going to see a team that plays hard, a team that cares, a team that's connected. We want a team that's really connected in all facets, and we're going to start that process this summer in early June when we have everybody here and everybody on campus. We have bits and pieces of guys right now, but we're going to start that. We're going to start that process. Going to start that process in June. So we're excited and excited about our guys, and excited about being here and representing NC State. I mean, one thing that was huge too, I didn't mention this. We got Colt from Butler. Mm-hmm. Like, you talk about a kid who's passionate, and his family's passionate. They wore 919 shirts on the visit. Like, that's when I was like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be pretty simple with his dad Mark. I was like, all right, this is gonna be good. But we got guys like him and Jordan Snell and who's a holdover, and Paul. Like, Paul loves NC State. These guys love NC State, and being able to, we're going to show our team the Jimmy V's 30 for 30 ESPN documentary. We got to develop, we got to get these guys a quick crash course on, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and we're going to go out and play that way. And so that's really important, and having guys like Colt and Paul and Jordan who understand that, and then having guys that came with me from McNeese who understand how I am, and then tying that stuff together, and boom, we're going to be off and running. But we firmly expect to be a top 4 team in the ACC. We firmly expect to make the NCAA tournament. We firmly expect to have a team that's good enough to make a run in the NCAA tournament, and that expectation hasn't changed and will never change.
Perfect. All right. Well, Will, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.